Ever binge content for hours, scroll endlessly, watch video after video, and still feel tired, anxious, or maybe even a little empty? You close the app, and instead of feeling inspired, you feel drained. You weren't just wasting time, you were silencing your creative power. Because the truth is, we weren't designed to just consume. We were born to create, to contribute, to express, and to shape. And the longer we ignore that truth, the more out of alignment we feel with ourselves, with our purpose, and with our peace. So in this video, I'm gonna help you reconnect to something you may not even realize you've been missing: your identity as a creator. There's a hidden crisis going on that no one talks about. Many wake up every day tired, and we think we're tired just from work. You think you're stressed from the news. You think you're overstimulated from all the constant noise that is around you. And while yes, all of that plays a role, but there's a deeper exhaustion that nobody talks about. It's a soul level fatigue that comes in from taking hundreds of voices a day and ignoring your own. It's not just that the content is loud, it's that we've gone quiet. And not quiet as in peaceful, quiet as in muted. And every day we scroll past people expressing themselves, building things, making art, solving problems. And somewhere deep inside, our spirit whispers, I used to do that. I wish I felt inspired like that. I don't even know what I would create anymore. It's not content that's draining you. It's the absence of contribution. It's the connection from your own creative self. We were made in God's image. This means that we were made to make stuff and created to create stuff. And if we go all the way back, from cave paintings to symphonies, or even come up to the newer age of software, human beings have had one thing in common. We build, we write, we shape, and we create. And it's not just reserved for artistic people. And in fact, you don't need to be a painter, a poet, or a designer. If you've ever had an idea, if you've ever solved a problem, if you've ever written something or built something that mattered to you, you're a creator. I recently read a quote that said, "The desire to create is one of the deepest yearnings of our soul." That's the truth, because creation is not just an output, but it's about alignment. It's about expressing what's on the inside of you. And here's the identity shift. You don't need a canvas to be a creator. You just need a willingness to contribute and a desire to build something that didn't exist before you brought it to life. And here's what's happening beneath the surface. Every time you scroll, you get a small hit of dopamine, which is your brain's reward chemical. And it feels good in the moment. But over time, it creates a loop that lowers motivation. It creates a loop that weakens your focus and quietly erodes your self-worth. You start comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, and you wonder, why am I not doing more? Why don't I feel excited anymore? What's wrong with me? Imagine eating all day, nonstop, but never moving your body. You'd feel heavy, maybe sick, definitely sluggish. That's what mental consumption does when it's not balanced by creative output. And this ain't just me talking, research backs it up. Studies have shown a clear link between excessive screen time and the rising rates of depression and anxiety, especially when that time is passive. Why? Because our soul wasn't made to just absorb. It was made to express. Creation reconnects you with your purpose. When you create, even something small, you reconnect to your inner world. You stop just reacting to what's going on outside of you and start expressing what is on the inside of you. You begin to shift from survival mode to soul mode. There was a season in my life when I felt completely off. No motivation, no direction. I was waking up every day already tired. You know, when you get your 8 to 10 hours of sleep, but you still wake up exhausted? But I remember one morning, instead of scrolling, I wrote just one page, not to post, not to publish, not to make a video out of, just to begin feeling something again. And it was like I flipped on a light switch. And it wasn't because the writing was profound, it wasn't, but it was because I created something. And in that moment, I stopped waiting for inspiration to come find me and started realizing that I was carrying it all along. And I want you to remember that when you create, you are reminded that you're not just living in the world, you're shaping. If you've ever said, I feel stuck, I just can't get going, I'm waiting for the right idea, I'ma lightly apply some pressure to your big toe. Just lightly, and I'ma hop off of it here in a minute. You're not stuck, you're stagnant. Creativity is like water. When it sits still too long, it gets murky. But when it flows, even in the smallest way, it brings life. Most people aren't waiting for a brilliant idea, they're waiting to feel ready. You have an idea. You get ideas all the time, but you're just waiting for this feeling of now. And if that's you, let me tell you, you don't need readiness, you need movement. Every time you create, no matter how small, you send the message, I'm powerful, I am capable, I'm alive. And it is that message that's the antidote to creative numbness. So how do I start creating again? Here's your creative comeback kit. I'm gonna give you 4 steps to reawakening. Number 1, make a decision to create something small every single day. I don't know what that looks like for you. Maybe it's write 1 paragraph, maybe it's record a video, take 1 photo, build 1 idea, make 1 decision. Size doesn't matter. The signal to your brain matters. Step 2, set boundaries on consumption. I'm not saying never consume, because consuming is important too, but we have to make sure we balance this. So make sure you're not too heavy on the consumption side and super light on the creative side. For every 30 minutes you consume, spend 15 minutes creating something. Number 3, follow your curiosity. Don't wait for the perfect idea. Follow the spark, the nudge, the whisper. If it makes you lean in, start there. And step number 4, share what you create. You want me to share what I created, but it's not perfect and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Even if it's not polished, even if only 1 person sees it, share what you create, because sharing shifts your energy from silence to contribution. Take some of the pressure off of yourself. You're not rebuilding an empire, you're rebuilding momentum in your life. Remember, you weren't just created to exist, you were created to express. And every time you choose to create something, anything, you're not just producing value, you're remembering who you are. So I ask you, what's 1 thing you're going to create, and how will you make time for it? There's an old story about a village tucked deep in the mountains. Quiet, peaceful, but slowly dying. Not because of war, not because of famine, but because the river that once ran through the village had dried up. The crops began to wilt, the animals stopped coming, there's no water, ain't no needing us coming. The people grew tired and hopeless. So the villagers gathered and sent out a group to find the source of the river. They wanted to go and see what had gone wrong. Where's our water? Days later, the group returned and they had an answer. The source of the river wasn't gone, it was blocked. Just upstream, a massive pile of debris, branches, mud, rocks, had built up over time, slowly, quietly, and unnoticed. It had stopped the flow. The water was still there. The life was still there. It was just stuck. It was held up. So the group started clearing it, 1 branch at a time. Not all at once. They didn't have bulldozers. They just used their bare hands. And as the flow returned, so did the life. The village flourished. The animals came back. And all of the activity rose up not because something new was added, but because what was always there had finally released. That's you. You're not empty. You're not broken. You're not waiting for inspiration. You're full of ideas, full of voice, full of power. Maybe you've just been blocked. But when you start clearing that space, even with one small act of creation, you'll feel it. Flow, the movement, the return of life. Because you weren't born to scroll through everyone else's story. You were born to write your own. You've been sitting there long enough. Let's get to work. Always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.